Hey there, and welcome back to the Sun in the Morning Comics channel. I'm gonna do another video of some classic cover art, classic Marvel cover art. Did a video like this yesterday. Unfortunately had some camera problems with some weird resolution, so I went through the boxes again, picked out a whole bunch of new stuff, or not new stuff, but a whole bunch of different stuff that's really cool art to show you. I did include a couple, I think 3 or 4 from the previous video, just because I mentioned how they were some of my favorites, and they were all wobbly and moving wavy around the screen. So this first one you're looking at here is, of course, Silver Surfer number 4, and this cover was done by John Buscema. And this is the February issue, I believe, from 1969. Just a beautiful cover. I absolutely love the pose of both the Silver Surfer and Thor. Absolutely great action shot. Love the background with the little purple cosmic stuff in the background. It's not too busy at all. Love the rainbow bridge leading into Asgard. I think just a fantastic cover. As I also mentioned on the previous video, like this one so much, I have a fridge magnet in my kitchen of it. And next up we have Fantastic Four number 5, another one that I showed in the other video, except this time it's not wavy and wobbly, so you can actually see it well. Great cover here by Jack Kirby. Of course, the first appearance of Doctor Doom. Love this comic, love this cover. I even like early on here for Jack Kirby, you can even see some of that 3D sort of drawing that he did that everybody loves so much. Love this book. It's one of my favorites that I have in my collection. And we're gonna stay here with the Fantastic Four and Jack Kirby covers here for a little while. This here is number 8. This is the first appearance of the Puppet Master. I just absolutely love the Puppet Master sort of having the FF do his bidding at his will, to having them hung up by strings. Just a very cool cover. Very original. There's just something about the early Fantastic Four covers that I personally think is just so much cooler than just about anything else from that time period. And next up here is Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's Fantastic Four number 12. This, of course, being the first Hulk crossover with the Fantastic Four. Like I said, there's just something about these early covers that just pop from the FF. Gotta love it. Gotta love how the Thing and the Hulk are about to go at it. They go at it quite a few times over the first 100 or so issues of FF. Doesn't usually work out too well for the Thing, but what can you do? Great cover. Love this one, another one of my favorites in my collection. And here we have Fantastic Four issue number 26. This one, as you can see, is a crossover with the Avengers. It's called The Avengers Takeover. I think this is an absolutely fantastic action cover here. Everybody is doing something and looking cool in some way. You got Thor swinging his hammer, looking like he's gonna fly upwards. You got the Thing, looks like he's climbing up to get his inevitable ass kicking by the Hulk. Got a cool shot here of the Human Torch flying towards the Hulk. Also, Reed is reaching for the Hulk. Sue, I'm not sure what she's doing, but she's in an action pose. And I guess we've got the big version of Ant-Man there, gianting up, and the Wasp is flying around, and of course we got Cap tossing his shield upwards, probably trying to stop the FF from getting at the Hulk, and then of course you just have Iron Man over here doing something. Not exactly sure what, but very cool action cover. I really like the way that there's a lot going on, but it's not too busy, and it really does sort of, even though the characters are all small on the page, it does sort of highlight them all very well. The next classic Kirby FF cover that we have here is number 48, this one being The Coming of Galactus. As you may very well know, this being the first appearance of the Silver Surfer, as well as the first, I guess, cameo of Galactus. It's kind of just, he's on the last page of the issue. Anyway, I really love this cover. I love the orange background. I love the buildings with the people on it, everybody looking up in horror to the sky. Even the FF here, you can see they're frightened. The thing is recoiling. Reed and Sue is clearly scared, and Reed is comforting her. And who doesn't love the Watcher? I love the Watcher, personally. So I love covers that involve the Watcher. I love how the expression on his face, looking up to the sky, knowing what is coming. Great cover, classic story. In my opinion, the beginning of the most important story arc in Marvel Comics history. And that story concludes in this issue here, number 50. Beautiful shot of the Silver Surfer. Love the black background. I've said this before. I love headshots of the heroes on covers. For some reason, it just does it for me. I don't know why. In the last video that had the messed up video, I had number 72, which was a Silver Surfer spotlight cover. So instead, I didn't want to show the same one again, so I brought this one out. Absolutely beautiful cover. And hey, you get to see Johnny, the Human Torch, go to college. And this is another one in that I did include in the last video. Of course, it was wobbly and you couldn't really see just how nice this book is. I did mention it in the last one. I'm not going to go into as great of detail. This is an extremely high-grade copy of Fantastic Four number 52, the first appearance of the Black Panther. I've been told it by everybody who's seen it that it could get a grade between a 9.0 and a 9.4, but we like raw books, so we'll just have to dream. But if it is a 9 to a 9.4, this would make it extremely valuable. This just might be my favorite comic that I own. Great job by Jack Kirby on the cover again as well. And one more from Jack Kirby in the FF. Not necessarily the last one from Jack Kirby, but last FF one here. This is Fantastic Four number 65. This is the first appearance of Ronan the Accuser. Now, I really like this cover because, I mean, you gotta love the expression on Reed's face. You gotta love the pained expression on the Thing's face. Johnny's clearly in trouble. Ronan is doing his thing, and here's Reed is just doing his best to use his stretchiness to get at Ronan to save the day. Gotta love Jack Kirby art. Even the background with New York in the background there is just really, really well done. Up next here we got the Galactus, the Origin cover. Absolutely love this cover. The cover art was done by Bob Layton. I believe this book was from 1983. I'm just a huge fan of Galactus, and I love everything about this cover. Got the menacing purple Earth World Eater, and I just like the space in the background. I like the lettering at the top. Just a cool cover. Wanted to share that. Up next we got Jungle Action featuring the Black Panther number 23. Cover here done by John Byrne. I believe that this is from about 1973. The reason why I chose this particular one out of all of the Jungle Action Black Panther stories and the titled Black Panther series, this is my favorite cover out of all of them. It's a very familiar cover. There's been many like it, with, for example, with SpiderMan cornered with a spotlight. But I like it when homages are done to other characters. This one's a great example. The Black Panther looking super cool here in this cover. Just like it. Wanted you to see it. Here we have Journey into Mystery number 125. Another Jack Kirby cover. Absolutely love this depiction of Thor on this book. It's not too busy at all. It's a very simple, straightforward cover. Nothing getting in your way of the focus. The focus here is clearly Thor. I love the background colors. I love the silhouette you see of the nemesis that he's about to face. And here we have The Amazing Spider-Man number 38 from July of 1966. This cover art, of course, done by Steve Ditko. This is personally one of my favorite Spidey covers. I love the action shot of Spidey. I also like, the big action shot of Spidey, and I also like the little action shots at the bottom. Just a very cool cover. Gotta love Spidey, gotta love old Spidey. Up next here on the docket is Amazing Spider-Man number 129. Of course, this being the first appearance of the Punisher and the Jackal. And most people care more that it's the first appearance of the Punisher. The cover here was done by Gil Kane and John Romita. And this is an absolutely classic Spider-Man cover. Love yellow backgrounds. Think they make everything else pop. Great first depiction. First time you see the Punisher, he looks super cool. And then, of course, Spidey in peril. Great cover. Great story. Love this one. This next one here is taking a very sharp downgrade in value from the previous one that we looked at. This one, of course, is The Amazing Spider-Man 262, and it tells you right at the top it's a special issue. Now, I can't tell you who drew the cover because clearly nobody drew the cover. I can tell you that the cover photo was by a man named Elliot R. Brown. Now, the reason why I included this one in here is because this was one of the comics that I had when I was very young, and it has sentimental value. I don't have that one anymore. If I did, I'm sure it would be destroyed anyway, but I found this picture perfect one and had to have it. I think it cost me all of $4, but hey, sentimental value is sentimental value. And now it's time for some goofy Iron Man. I'm a big fan of the goofy Iron Man, so I want to show you some of these covers. This cover done here by Jack Kirby and Don Heck. It's a great action photo of Iron Man busting through, and he's gonna go and, attack the Red Barbarian, but he's just so goofy looking. What's not to love about a goofy looking Iron Man? Think he's hilarious. And we're gonna see more of that. More goofy Iron Man, this time cover done by Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers. In this one, Iron Man is saving Cleopatra. Who knew that Iron Man could travel back in time? At least before Avengers Endgame. At any rate, like I said, I'm a big fan of these goofy looking Iron Man. covers, or goofy looking Iron Man in general, but you can see here that this is an absolutely beautiful book. It's in phenomenal condition. So despite it being a very goofy Iron Man, I really like this one. This time Iron Man looks like he's got an iron skirt on. So, and he's in big trouble because he's facing off against the Melter, who can melt his iron. Scary stuff for Tony Stark. This cover done by Jack Kirby and George Roussos. This Tales of Suspense issue number 47. Like I keep saying, I just see this and I laugh and I like it. And here's another issue of Tales of Suspense, number 79. We've moved past the Jack Kirby era of Tales of Suspense here. This cover done by Gene Colan and inked by Jack Abel. I think that this is absolutely fantastic art. It's just a lot more. There's a lot more realism to this than there has been in the previous Tales of Suspense stuff. Not that I didn't like it or think that they were cool, but I think that this is just sort of showing a different era of art, and Iron Man in distress looking really cool, the Submariner looking really cool. Just overall great use of space. There's nothing too cluttered on this cover. Just a great example of how you make a great cover with featuring two characters. And this is the last Tales of Suspense cover that I'm going to show you today. This one returning to Jack Kirby with inks by Frank Giacoia. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that one. At any rate, I will say that out of all of the Tales of Suspense covers, this is my absolute favorite. Reason being, I've mentioned it before, I love yellow covers. It's got a yellow cover. It's not too cluttered. There's not a whole lot going on. There's nobody better in this era of showing an action fighting sequence than Jack Kirby. Captain America taking on the Black Panther. What's not to love about this cover? It's absolutely gorgeous. Gonna move on to some Strange Tales covers here next. The first one here being Strange Tales number 134. This one by the cover by Jack Kirby and Frank Giacoia. Love the cover here. I just love the Watcher. Anytime I get to see the Watcher prominently featured, it makes me happy. Obviously, there is some trouble brewing for the Human Torch and the Thing here. I think it's a great action sequence. I like the building, and I just love the huge Watcher lording over everything. I really like it when they do that with big characters like that, make them even bigger, and I think this is a great example of that. Now you're looking at Strange Tales number 137. This cover done by John Severin and Steve Ditko. This one, of course, is focusing more on Nick Fury. I really like the running away action shot here with the villain. Like I said over the previous issue with the Watcher, I really like it when you got a big character and you over-exaggerate that character on the cover. Nothing too cluttered about this cover. I really like it. I also like at the bottom here, plus Doctor Strange meets minds with interesting stuff. I always like it when there's something cool little extra in there. And as the Strange Tales series sort of moved along, the covers seemed to get cooler and cooler. This particular one here, number 146, this was done by Steve Ditko. I absolutely love the depiction of Doctor Strange in this one. He's got his foe coming at him. I like the background. I like the red background with the black blotches, which sort of makes it more of a full cover. I think if this stuff was missing in there, it might not quite have the same aesthetic, so I really like that one. And hey, the end at last. You know, I don't know if Doctor Strange is gonna make it, so might want to check it out to find out. Another great Strange Tales cover here. This is number 152. The cover art here was done by Bill Everett. Now, I really like this cover. I think that the detail on this is fantastic. Look at the facial expression here. It's absolutely menacing, menacing, and it's just very well done. And even on the smaller Doctor Strange, the facial expression there is fantastic for the size of the drawing itself. So that's the reason why I wanted to point this out. Like I said, as the Strange Tales series moved along, the covers just seem to be getting more and more cool. As we move along here to Strange Tales number 157, you don't even need to see the name on the side here. The style is obvious. This is Jim Steranko, and this is just a fantastic example of his work. Nothing is overly cluttered. The background is cool, and does anybody draw Nick Fury cooler than Jim Steranko? I don't think so. Just a great cover, like most Steranko covers are. And here's another Strange Tales cover number 164. This one done by Dan Adkins. Very cool cover. I just like it. There's nothing extraordinarily special about it, just like I had mentioned before. As you get towards the end of this Strange Tales series, the cover art is just awesome no matter who's doing it, and this one is no exception. Gotta love it. And here you're looking at Doctor Strange number 173, cover by Dan Adkins. In the last video that I did that had all the wavy weirdness, I showed Doctor Strange 169, the first titled Doctor Strange issue, which is probably the most iconic Doctor Strange cover. And I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites, but there is just something about this cover that I absolutely love. I love the color scheme. I love the incapacitated Doctor Strange. Just love it. Gotta watch out for that Dormammu fellow, though. He's kind of dangerous, but great cover. And we'll move along from the Strange Tales Doctor Strange stuff now. Okay, and here you are looking at X-Men number 5. This one from May of 1964. Cover pencils done by Jack Kirby with inks by Paul Reinman and Marie Severin. Just a great early example of an X-Men cover. I like the goofy X-Men original suits, but for me what makes the cover cool is going to be the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I really like the way that they all look here, especially Scarlet Witch and Magneto. Also gotta love the way Quicksilver always looks kind of cool, I think. And the Toad in his original form makes me laugh. But I really like this. It's got that sort of early Jack Kirby action, 3D popping off the page look to it. And although we were not in the greatest condition, as we can see here, still very happy to have that guy. Great art. Here's another early X-Men cover issue. This is number 9. This was done by Jack Kirby and Chick Stone on the cover. Now, gotta love anything where you have a crossover. At least in these days, not so much today. But I really like these classic crossovers. You've got the Avengers against the X-Men, and it's just a really cool shot here of Thor and Giant Man and Iron Man and Cap attacking the X-Men, of course, Angel, Cyclops, Beast, and Marvel Girl. Jean Grey is not doing a whole hell of a lot there, which seems to be a problem with a lot of those early covers. Like, what is Marvel Girl actually doing? Of course, we know she ends up becoming one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, but yeah, here she's kind of just there, which is unfortunate. Also, like, it's a split cover here. We've got a second picture here on the bottom with Lucifer. Watch out for him, he's dangerous. And we've got Professor X in what appears to be a tank wheelchair, which is kind of awesome. There's a lot going on this cover. It is pretty busy. Generally, that's not really my thing, but I do quite like the art on this one. And this is X-Men number 13, cover done by Jack Kirby and Joe Sinnott. This is, I believe, the second appearance of the Juggernaut. I think his first appearance was number 12. Number 12 is not as cool of a cover. Really like this cover. I like how in the background you have the X-Men and Professor X standing at the ready. And you've got Juggernaut with the fist made, just waiting, and I love the shot here of Angel flying towards him. It's got that Jack Kirby thing going. It pops right off the page. This is a great example of Jack Kirby's art because it has depth to it. Juggernaut feels much closer than the rest of the X-Men, and then Angel is definitely covering that distance between them. Think that's awesome. I really like the art and the drawing on this cover here. And this is X-Men number 17, a beautiful all red and black cover. You gotta love that. This one here, done by Jack Kirby and inks by Dick Ayers. I love something unique like this, where it's all one tone, but there's still a tremendous amount of detail. There is a lot going on this cover, but I think that it's just really cool, especially just because of the color scheme and the detail of our heroes who are in peril. And now we're going to jump ahead a little bit to X-Men issue number 54. Now, this one is the first appearance of Alex Summers. Now, this cover was done by Barry Windsor-Smith, at the time as Barry Smith, along with John Romita, and the inks were done by Vince Colletta. This era here of the X-Men covers, they started incorporating a lot more realism into these later issues before they sort of went on their reprint hiatus after issue number 66. But absolutely a fantastic cover here. Cyclops looking scared, Angel looking really cool, Iceman hiding behind ice, but just overall a great cover. And I think that these later covers, before they sort of canceled the X-Men in favor of reprinting the old issues for a while, really, I think, helped them when they came back, because this is the last that people saw, were these last few issues that just had amazing art on them. Another great example here is X-Men 56. What is the Power? This cover, done by Neil Adams. I think it is kind of obvious that from the art that this is Neil Adams. You gotta love Neil Adams' cover art, and when he's doing some of these covers on the X-Men, they're absolutely fantastic. And another really cool cover here from the X-Men, this one number 65. The cover pencil's done by Marie Severin and inked by Tom Palmer. It's just a great action cover. Our heroes are in peril, as you can see. Jean and the Beast are in trouble, but Iceman and Cyclops and Angel are there to try to save the day. Because, you know, you go into outer space, you face some problems. Another great cover. Love these, like I said, late X-Men covers before they started reprinting them. This, I believe, this is the second last one before they started reprinting them. And now here we're into the new X-Men stories, which started at number 94. I can't remember if this was before Giant X-Men 1. No, I think this is after Giant X-Men 1 and 2. But back to the numbered series, this would be the first in that continuation. This one here is the first part of a two-part story, a great story, the Doom Smith scenario. The story, of course, by Chris Claremont. And the art here was done here on the cover by Dave Cochran. Great cover. It's got, you know, all your, at the time, new X-Men in there. You've got Colossus and Nightcrawler and Storm, but you still got your old favorites in there too. And Cyclops still flying around. Great cover. I like the green background on this too. I just think it's really cool. And of course, this is right at the beginning of one of the best comic runs you're ever gonna read. And this is the last X-Men cover I'm going to show you today. Definitely one of my favorites. Of course, this is still in the Chris Claremont story area, and the art here on the cover done by Dave Cockrum. I love this cover because it's got the old team squaring off against the new team. We got the old team on this side, got the new team on this side, and we've got a Professor X who has jettisoned his wheelchair, and the tag is X-Man versus X-Man in a battle to the death, betrayed by Professor X. If that's not intriguing, I don't know what is. Like I said, I think it's really cool. You've got your old team here. You've got Cyclops and Jean and Iceman and the crew. And on this side, you've got Wolverine and Colossus and Storm and the crew. And they're going at each other. It kind of reminds me of that scene in Captain America Civil War, where you've got the two sets of Avengers squaring off against each other. I'm wondering if that scene may have had some inspiration come from this comic book cover. Love it. It's a great cover. Up next here, we're looking at Captain America 100. This, of course, being the first titled Captain America series issue since the 40s. Of course, he'd been in plenty of other stuff like Tales of Suspense. He appeared in Avengers stuff and in Fantastic Four, all over the place, X-Men, wherever. Cap was everywhere. Now this is his first, like I said, issue of the first titled series. Cover pencils were done by Jack Kirby and inked by Sid Shores and Joe Sinnott. Now, I really like this cover because it's got that, I've mentioned it many times, that Kirby jumping out off the page thing going for it. You got Cap jumping off the page, and even you got the smaller illustrations with the rest of them. Even like Black Panther and Thor, Ironman, Submariner, just jumping off the page. There's not too much going on in the background. It's not too busy, and I even like the little drawing of the Wasp there. Just a really cool cover. Good job, guys. And this is one of the ones that I had on my messed up video resolution from yesterday, so I wanted to show it again just because this is one of my favorite covers of all time. This is Captain America number 113 cover done by Jim Steranko. This, in the previous issue, Cap had died, and this is the memorial to him. We've got a very sad Bucky Barnes Boy Wonder. And like I said yesterday on that video, love the background, love the moon in the background. This statue of Cap is amazing. The condition of this book is absolutely fantastic. I wish you could see it a little closer. If I was into grading, this would be one that would be sent to CGC, but raw all the way. And gotta love Cap, gotta love Jim Steranko. And to finish things up, we'll go with something real classic here. Of course, this cover was penciled by Jack Kirby. Inks were done by George Roussos. This is, of course, the return of Captain America. His first Silver Age appearance, coming out of the ice to join the Avengers in Avengers number 4. Now, if this is just, to me, this is classic Jack Kirby. Everything pops off the page. Everything looks 3D. Everything is drawn and colored absolutely beautiful on this. Cap looks cool. Ant/Giant Man looks cool. The Wasp looks cool. Iron Man looks cool. Thor looks awesome. And the Submariner looks just as cool as he ever does. Love this cover. Obviously, this is one of my favorite comics that I own. Would never even think about getting rid of it, but I think it's just a great way to end this video that we are doing here today, showing off some classic Marvel cover art, the pop art, if you will. So, thank you for joining me. I know this has been a long one. Thanks for watching here on the Son of the Morning Comics channel. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can see when new videos come out. There will be modern reviews, classic reviews, more stuff like this, DC versions of stuff like this. Leave some comments if you like, be nice to each other, make fun of me if you need to. That's all fine and good. At any rate, thank you once again for joining me, and we will talk to you on the next video.